Welcome to the Blind Loyalty Challenge. I am Amanda Cromhope from Truth Loyalty and the Blind Loyalty Trust. We interview world leaders in loyalty blindly. The challenge is about creating loyalty insight spontaneously and about a lot of fun. Simultaneously, it is about raising the awareness of the Blind Loyalty Trust, and 100% of the proceeds from my book, Blind Loyalty, 101 Loyalty Concepts Radically Simplified, go towards the trust. We hope you enjoy the Blind Loyalty Challenge. Today's Blind Loyalty Challenge is with a wonderful lady that so many of you will know, Lisa Brightwell. She's the Managing Director of Bright's Insights Consulting based in the UAE. So we're connecting Dubai to Cape Town. And obviously, Lisa, those of you, I'm sure you also know, is a co-guest host on Let's Talk Loyalty and Loyalty TV. So Lisa, great to have you on the Blind Loyalty Challenge.
Thanks, Amanda. Very excited on a Friday afternoon
Yeah.
to do this with you.
So we are doing it on a Friday afternoon, and we've been trying to get together for so many months, but that's just I guess, a reflection on how crazy busy the loyalty industry is. So we'll go straight into it. Your first question was set by Tim Fulford. He's from the
Right.
Endurance Zone. I don't know if you know
Okay.
Tim, but Tim's
No.
question, they're quite new in the loyalty tech environment. So his question is, how do you best measure the different mechanics we use in loyalty programs? So how would you go about measuring points versus discounts for interest sake?
Oh God. Okay. Thanks, Tim. Was it Tim?
It's
Um,
Tim. I'll give you his email address. You can blame him.
yeah. Yeah, I'll email him later. How do you measure? So I guess on all measurement, it comes down to the data, right? Depending on what you're trying to measure, whether you're measuring the effectiveness of points, the effectiveness on that as a mechanic to drive behavior, the effectiveness of points in a campaign, the effectiveness of discount. It's all coming back to looking at the data and looking at previous member spend versus member and behavioral shifts in member spend, also non-member spend versus member spend. So it's a very open-ended question for what
Yeah.
could be, you could go down lots of different avenues here, right? But the data is the key, and making sure you, before you set any kind of structural program changes or any kind of campaign changes on a program, you should look at your data before, right? And look at what does it look like before? What are you trying to achieve? And therefore, how are you going to measure it from what you've got before? And I think so it depends on that question, what exactly we're talking about, but the data is the underpinning on that, and making sure that you are constantly reviewing before and after, member versus non-member. And setting, I think as well, setting expectations for behavioural changes, because
Mm.
obviously loyalty is there to help drive those behavioural. You're basically trying to stimulate people to do certain behaviours, and so what are you trying to achieve? And is it and sometimes you need to make adjustments on those on some of those things you decide, whether it's from a value proposition point of view or a campaign, looking at the data, making adjustments, and then setting the objectives and see how you're performing against.
Yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right, though. It's a super wide open question.
Yeah.
You could have taken it any angle you'd liked. I think you
Yeah.
wanted responses to other, how do we measure the entire sort of complexity of loyalty? So I just chose a couple of them, but um,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
But so the second question, in blind loyalty, we have many chapters. In fact, chapter 87, 88, and 89, all about loyalty tech. Now, your role is obviously helping clients in their journey into loyalty, which will deeply involve tech. So, without putting you on the spot with potential partners
Mm.
that you work with, but what is the most exciting piece of tech in the loyalty space you've seen recently?
Ooh, nice one. I like this. Um, I actually am. I'm not going to talk about AI tools because I think everyone talks about AI. We all know that's exciting, and there's some really great opportunities happening with different types of AI tools. So let me
Yeah.
deviate from that and talk about things with regards to potentially augmented reality. I really like some brands like Kinder have done some really cool things in the retail space with augmented reality. You're in a supermarket shopping aisle, you look through the lens of your phone through the app, and you can engage in a Kinder world, which could kind of engage in children but also adults. And so somehow engaging with augmented reality within a loyalty program and gamification where you can perhaps find the Kinder eggs in the supermarket shopping aisle, and the more Kinder eggs you get, the greater the badge, greater the reward. So, I've just elongated what they do there, but just
Yeah,
to give a
yeah.
contextual
Nice.
example, I don't actually know what whether they involve it in their loyalty. I just
Yeah.
know that they've done some really fun stuff with augmented reality. And I really like how we could bring that into a loyalty space. We do a lot of work in shopping malls, and people come into the shop, certainly in this part of the world, because it's hot, and so
Yeah.
shopping malls are where people go at the weekends, where they hang out. They've become destinations, they're not just shopping malls.
Yeah.
And so how could you do something really fun with a loyalty program, to engage people while they're in your space? Treasure hunts, loyalty program for kids. So I don't know. I like the evolvement of augmented reality connected with gamification on loyalty, and I'd love to do that with one of my clients. So if anyone's listening, I'd like to go down that route and see how we can create some more kind of emotional and fun engagement through augmented reality.
Yeah, that's stunning. Actually, when I was listening to you now, I was thinking it's almost bringing the digital environment with analog together, but with augmented reality, especially if they combine it with sort of gamification for within the loyalty system itself. So yeah, stunning, lovely. I'm gonna go and I don't know if the Kinder opportunities outside of the UAE, but I hope it is. So.
I think it is. I can send you some stuff on it, and we've actually suggested it to a couple of clients who haven't taken it. So not all clients are on board for this idea, but there's some really nice ideas if you think about tourism and tourist destinations,
Yeah,
about people driving people's behaviour through a city, right? To go and if you go and check out a tourist attraction, a bit like Pokemon Go, capture the animal or capture the
yeah,
token or whatever it is, to kind of guide visitor behaviour and earn currency while you do it. So yeah, I
love
quite like
it.
those new innovations. Yeah.
Yeah, stunning. Cool, great. So the next question around in chapter 59 in blind loyalty, we talk about tiering. We say to tier or not to tier. And
Yes.
effectively, we get asked this question all the time. So picking on your bright mind, excuse the pun, which brand really highlights for you how tiering works fabulously for their customers, but also for them commercially?
Oh, okay. And to tier or not to tier is a constant question at my end. And I think,
Yeah.
um, before I answer that, I am someone that's quite happy to explore no tier. But actually, is the industry ready for no tier? Because there's a connotation with loyalty that loyalty means points, and there's a connotation that loyalty means tiers. And so sometimes when you propose no tiers, even if you can back up and substantiate that argument, we always go back to tiers anyway. So people are used to it and like it. I think if I talk from personal experience, I think the hotel programs work really well for me, and the airline, the big programs with tiers. Um, Even though I'm ex-Marriott, I am blue-blooded with Hilton. I am a premium member with Hilton's program, and the free breakfasts that I get and the upgrades that I get for me are so important that if I'm coming close to downgrade, I'm talking to my husband about, okay, where can we go for the weekend? Because I absolutely have to maintain this gold tier. I now cannot stay at Hilton without my gold tier. It just
Brilliant.
doesn't feel right for me anymore. And also, I'm in the space, right? So I appreciate the value that it gives me. I think that there's quantified value in my tier, and I think quite often you look at some programs where they have the tiers for the sake of having tiers,
Yeah.
but actually the value isn't there as you move up into the tiers, and then people kind of lose their emotional connection and their resonance with the program because there's no value created in those tiers. So I think for me, the hotel programs, the airlines do it really well with the value that they add into
Yeah.
the tiers, and for me, it's something I don't want to lose. So it motivates my behaviour to keep.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, classic what you just said around, where we're going to keep your gold tier. I love it.
Yeah.
We've heard that in the airline industry many times. It's interesting in our market in Africa particularly, it's not a big I see in particularly in the Middle East, it's very much tiers, tiers, tiers. We
Oh
don't see
yeah.
it as much here. We do in the banking industry, but retail rarely actually. So it is super interesting how the different markets have different mechanics in place. Okay,
I think
Lisa.
here, oh sorry, Sven, I think here the tiering is because of status, and you'll see retail programs having IO and all these like multiple layers. because, and I can imagine in other parts of the world it isn't as important, but
Yeah.
here it's the status level. We have to have them. So, but you're right, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, well, if it works, right? So let's not break it. Thank you, Lisa. I knew you'd sail through and I knew it's short, sharp, and quick. So who can I interview next?
So I thought let's keep it in the region. Let's kind of get some of the loyalty individuals in this region a bit of a profile.
Yeah.
And there's a lady, I haven't asked her, so I hope she doesn't mind. There's a lady called Roxanne McMod from the U by EMAR program. And I think it would be great to talk to her. She's from U by EMAR. EMAR, for people that don't know, is a conglomerate kind of company out here that deals with mixed verticals of business units from hospitality, retail to property development. So a lot of
Great.
programs like that out here, and I think it'd be
Yeah.
interesting to talk to Roxanne, and
Yeah,
she's lovely. So,
stunning. Great. Thank you very much. And a question, it might not be for Roxanne, but a question you're dying to get an answer to.
oh, okay. So, I was thinking about this, and because I talk a lot about data, I thought I'm going to ask a controversial question about data. Should customers have the right to own and monetize their own data within loyalty programs, or could they? It's a good one, though, right?
It's a goodie. It's a goodie. Should customers have the right to own and monetize their own data collected by the program?
Yeah, or be involved in it, right? So how can there be a nice balance between the program getting value for that data and the customer being some way involved in either the monetization, and that could be in terms of points, right? Or monetization in terms of other commercial value to them. So it would be interesting. I think it's potentially something that might happen in the future. So let's see.
See, under GDPR, you're legally allowed to access all of that data, aren't you? But I think the
Yeah,
kind of question there is the monetization of it and using it.
yeah.
Amazing, Lisa. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for doing the blind loyalty challenge. Well done.
Thank you, Amanda.